Hello? Yeah.
Yeah,
Hello, sir.
yeah, Srinivas, I can
Sir,
hear you.
sorry for the inconvenience. It was the new software.
Ah,
Uh,
no, no problem. Anyway, that's
uh,
all part of life.
so, thank you, sir. I will just introduce you so that we can take up to 140, if, whatever is convenient to you. Up to
Okay,
130.
fine.
Yeah. Sir, dear audience, dear participants, without wasting our time, we will start our first session because the delay in the inauguration, we could not start it properly. Sorry. And now we have with us an eminent academician, uh, researcher, industrialist, and also a very eminent person in as a teacher because he was my teacher. He has spent a lot of almost 3 to 4 decades in teaching, and he also teaches in our Swayam MOOC. That is, he is actually taking NPTEL courses on teaching and learning for MBA accreditation TALE. Uh, and he is a renowned speaker, he is a renowned trainer, and he has trained, I think, more than many faculty members all over the world in the outcome based education, and many of the recent advances in teaching learning process. We are very fortunate to have him because from tomorrow onwards he is busy in training people from Kerala State Higher Education. So only today we got his free slot. Sir, thank you very much for accepting our invitation, sir. Uh, and it is nice of you after a long time. I am also listening to you, sir. Thank you, sir. It is over to you.
Thank you, Professor Srinivas, for your nice, kind words. And we are happy. I hope you are able to hear me.
Yeah, yes, sir. Very much, sir. It is very
Yeah.
clear.
Can I now share my presentation?
Yeah,
Can you
yes, sir.
able to?
Please present now. Yeah.
Uh,
It's
where is
down.
my?
Down it is there, sir. Present now.
Sir, where you have this mic option and the camera icon, then you have turn on captions and then you have present now.
Yeah,
If you
exactly. I
can,
can see it now. Present now. Yes.
yes, sir. There you can see
Yeah, yeah, I am
the
my
screen.
screen.
Just click
I'm
on it
presenting.
once and then
Yeah, yeah.
We got your screen, sir.
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting into my device.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yes, sir. Very much, sir.
Thank you. Then shall I start?
Yeah, please, sir. Please, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Srinivas, and all the organizers. And it's at 1 o'clock, so I'll not eat too much into your lunchtime. So hopefully by about 1:45, I should be able to wind it up. And okay, thank you. So following the outcome-based education norms, what are the outcomes for this about 45-minute session? Understand the importance of communication, explain the issues of communication, understand the types of communication and their characteristics, and understand good practices in communication. At the end of this 45-minute session, originally we thought of about 1 hour 20 minutes, but now I think I'll curtail it to 45 minutes. At the end of this session, all the participants are supposed to demonstrate these competencies. And in this context, by communication, we mean communication beyond course content. Okay. And of course, teaching online can be looked at in different contexts. It can be a MOOCs program, or it can be a short-term training program or a workshop like this. But the context that we are looking at is where a full-fledged course of certain number of credits, typically 1 to 3 credits, is being offered to your regular students. That means your learners are your regular students, and they are the students of a formal academic program, a BTech or a BCom or a BA or a BSc of a higher education institution, and the course is part of a regular curriculum of the program. So the implications are that the course content, the course outcomes, the course objectives, the schedules, the times at which the assessments are done, the total duration of the program, these are all fixed. Okay? In that context, we are trying to see what would be the implications. So the course is part of the regular curriculum. That is the only context that we are discussing. Though when you look at an online workshop or a training program, some issues are common. There are certain differences when we look at regular students. Now, in general, in any course, there are 3 types of presences which are required. And the first one is a social presence, an extremely important one, which ensures that there is a kind of a bonding among the learners and the instructor, so that there is a community of learners. There is a feeling that we are all together on this journey of learning. So that social presence is essential. A kind of welcome message, getting acquainted post, initial confidence building posts, all these are helpful in resolving access related issues, etc. So this is one extremely important presence, and we'll see that in online this is really a challenge. Then of course cognitive presence and teacher presence. The cognitive presence would imply that the expertise of the teacher in the domain in which the current course is happening comes into the play. So the course outcomes are clarified, relevance of the course is explained. If any prerequisite concepts are required, they are all recalled. Then of course direct teaching also happens. Then teacher presence is also required. What we mean is, particularly in an online context, the students are physically disconnected from the teacher, but they should always feel that the teacher is out there to help them. So the teacher's presence must be felt by the learners if the learning is to be really meaningful. So we design for probable learners, expecting that the learning community will have this kind of a background knowledge, this kind of prerequisites, this kind of a social background and all. But when we start teaching, we have to teach to the actual students. So we say design for the probable learners and teach to the actual students. So we need to adapt ourselves to what really is the ground reality. So this teacher's presence is also extremely essential. Then there are several issues in classroom management, managing communications. That is the only focus of this session. In fact, there are many other issues like academic record keeping, identity, privacy, online behavior of the students. Then of course the actual content presentation. This is an extremely important issue, but that is not the only issue that the teachers need to be concerned with. Content presentation tools, certainly they are going to discuss in the later sessions. We need to know how to capture audio, video, edit them, embed them into PPTs or PDFs, or embed a quiz into a video, or upload your videos. All these techniques and tools are absolutely essential, but they are not sufficient to ensure good learning by the students. So in the coming sessions, certainly all these will be discussed, but in this session we look at beyond the content, what sort of communication plays a big role in helping the learners overcome the deficiency of missing face-to-face interaction. So in the present context, we mean communication, not the course content, but beyond course content, all other types of communication we include. Now, this always was important even in a face-to-face education, but particularly critical in online education. The major reason is that there is considerable amount of non-verbal communication which takes place between the teacher and the students in a face-to-face classroom. When I walk in, for example, I greet you with a good morning. I see you either smiling or frowning. and you see me smiling, and there is certain kind of non-verbal communication that is happening. But now in an online context, I really do not know how many of you are smiling and how many of you are feeling that we are getting late into the lunchtime. But the entire body language, the non-verbal cues are all missing. Okay. Or even if you assume that there is some kind of a small classroom where some kind of sharing is happening of the audio and video, that will be very minimal. So either absent or minimally present non-verbal cues. I hope some of you are smiling now. So that creates an issue. Then, of course, the communication differences arising from synchronous, asynchronous, blended learning environments. Then another important point is that there is a delayed feedback. Even when you have synchronous classroom session, there is a delayed feedback from the learners and a delayed response from the instructor. In a face-to-face kind of environment, it is more or less instantaneous. The moment you see that many of the learners are putting up puzzled faces, you stop what you are saying and then try to figure out what is the stumbling block. Similarly, if a student has a question, they will raise a finger and immediately will be able to answer. Because some of the online tools do permit, like WebEx does permit raising of a finger. But because you are on airtime, which is quite precious, and the bandwidth issues are there, you will not be generally responding immediately to the query of the students, learners. So there is a delayed feedback from the learners and a delayed response from the instructors. Then, of course, there is no peer interaction. And as we know, that is extremely important in terms of learning. Then there are, of course, technology issues. Like today, I am having challenge at my place. There is a frequent disruption of the internet that is happening. I do not know why, but some kind of digging is happening. So I'm really running into a lot of difficulties today. Okay. So what kind of communications take place? So primarily we say that there are three types of communication which take place, which is first is the discussion. Okay. This is a transient exchange of information between the teacher and the learners. Then the second is message. This is a one-way communication from the teachers to the learners or from the learners to the teachers. Then the third important, right. So there are three types of communication which are involved. A transient exchange, which is discussion, then a one-way, which is a message. Then the third, which is extremely important, is communication for collaborative work. As we know, a lot of learning happens in a collaborative mode. When the students are able to work together in small teams, substantial amount of learning does take place. Now, in an online, how do we manage these kind of collaborative work is another challenge that we need to look into. So now discussion, as we already saw, it's a transient exchange of information between the teachers and learners. In asynchronous mode, the problem is that the discussion takes place asynchronously. So there is a delay between the students posing some questions on a forum and the teacher responding to that. So the best that the teacher can do is to respond as quickly as possible to any discussion posted on a forum. And of course, a regular course is rarely delivered in fully asynchronous mode. More likely, either it is synchronous or in blended mode. But certainly, we will be supplementing even the synchronous or blended mode learning with the learning material. Pre-recorded video lectures or PPTs or PDF, they are all available, made available in some kind of a dedicated website. Okay. So in such a scenario, the tools must permit some kind of convenient text-based discussion forums. Okay. Now, synchronous mode, that is much more common with regular courses. We can plan discussions. In fact, if we had 1.5 hours, I would have stopped in between for about 10 minutes to have some kind of a discussion. But now, unfortunately, that would not be feasible. So we'll be simply rushing through. But still, ensuring learner participation is a challenge in an online mode because of the limited airtime that is available. Okay? And you can have both possible, you can have verbal as well as text-based communications. Okay? And the time available for synchronous discussion tends to be generally quite limited, as I mentioned. But you can have a supplementary asynchronous discussion. The key points can certainly be discussed during the synchronous mode. Now, this will be much better when we do a blended course, which I understand is the focus of this workshop, where we have online plus certain limited face-to-face interaction. Now, the time allocated for the traditional face-to-face interaction sessions tend to vary across different courses and institutions. But if you do that blended mode, where you are backing up your online classes, whether synchronous or asynchronous, learning resources made available separately, with all that, when you have certain face-to-face sessions, the discussion can be made much more lively, meaningful, and enriching. Teacher can use these face-to-face sessions to improve the quality of learning by carefully supplementing the synchronous or asynchronous discussions. But this would mean that the teacher has to follow carefully the discussions happening on the learning management system. I hope you are using some kind of learning management system like a Moodle, which permits a discussion thread to be conveniently opened and everyone can participate in the thread. In fact, I see that towards the end of this workshop, on the last day, you have extended sessions on Moodle. Moodle permits a discussion thread to be opened, and people can participate in that, post their comments, post their queries, post their responses. Teacher must follow the discussion threads that are happening on the learning management system and do some kind of analytics to figure out what is essentially the direction in which the discussion is moving, which are all the sticky points where people have misconceptions. You can also do the learner analytics to find out who are the students who are not actively participating in these discussions, a kind of what you can call as quiet backbenchers. So you need to do some learner analytics. Most of the tools, including Moodle, give you these analytics very easily. So based on that, you must figure out how to use the face-to-face sessions most effectively. So you try to get those quiet learners into the discussion. You try to figure out the sticky points or the conceptual bottlenecks that majority of the students are having, and use this face-to-face time to clear those bottlenecks. That way, we can use the face-to-face time most effectively. But this would mean considerable amount of background work by the teacher. Yes, online does pose some challenges for the teachers. We have to spend considerable time looking into the discussion threads that are running and then do some kind of learner analytics to figure out these issues. Then we can make the best use of the face-to-face time that is available. Without that background study of the actual discussion threads, the face-to-face time may not be used that effectively. Then, of course, there are learner issues, as I mentioned. There are quiet learners. In the classroom, we could identify them more easily, but in an online context, you have to run some kind of analyze learner behavior to see who are all the learners who are extremely quiet. Then we also have noisy learners who keep posting multiple threads into the discussion forums, who bump into every discussion thread and start putting comments. So we do have sometimes these noisy learners, but sometimes they are helpful. So please do not discourage those people. But occasionally, though in Indian context, generally we do not have such a scenario, we can have disruptive learners. This generally happens more often in MOOCs, where the participants come from diverse geographical regions, diverse backgrounds, and it's a totally heterogeneous set of learners. Sometimes learners can be disruptive. They post quite offensively and they try to disrupt the learning. In a regular course that we are offering for our regular students, this is unlikely. But in the rare case that it does happen, be prepared to handle such disruptive learners with tact. And in all these cases, you must use a learning management system like Moodle, because this gives you a lot of learner analytics, which are very helpful in making the online learning much more effective and using the blended time much more efficiently. And of course, teacher needs to pay special attention to all these issues to facilitate quality learning. Now, the key takeaways are that first, ensuring effective and meaningful participation by all the learners is a big challenge. So we must depend on learner analytics and pull the quiet learners into the discussion, making the learners feel the presence of the teacher. As I mentioned, because physically we are disconnected, the students must feel the presence of the teacher, and the best way to do that is to respond as quickly as possible to any comment by the learners, so that they feel that the teacher is out there to help them. Then moderating the discussion threads, encouraging the participants, and if there is too much quietness on the discussion forums, you can initiate a discussion thread and then see that the students become engaged with that discussion. And obviously, a learning management system is the most effective and efficient in addressing all these issues. So I strongly urge you to use some learning management system, Moodle or something equivalent to that. Without that, managing these kind of communications becomes a real challenge. Then messages are one-way communications. They can be quite brief or extended messages. Now, a separate message board that is distinct and separate from the discussion support should be used. That would be very desirable. Preferably, it must have some kind of a scrolling banner in which important announcements are made, and the message board should be at a place which is easily accessible, visible to the students. Such a message board can be embedded into the course homepage, and again, a learning management system like Moodle permits it. And then alerts about new messages must be supported, and viewing message history must be very easy. This is very important. You must be able to scroll up and down through the message board and see which are all the previous messages which I might have missed. So a kind of a bulletin board which is embedded into the home page would be extremely convenient. So what kind of messages are used to be posted on the bulletin board? Messages from learners can be queries related to the course content. This is not same as discussion. It is just a kind of a query, like particular resource is not getting downloaded, or particular video is not getting opened up, or particular PDF, there is an access issue, it is password protected. So simply queries related to the course content and requests related to the course itself. For example, permission to be absent for some synchronous class, or permission for late submission of an assignment, or permission to be absent for an internal test. So these are all related to the course administration. Then most often queries related to technology, access problems, password change procedures, quality of video, audio. In fact, you can see that even though this is not a regular course, it's only more like a workshop, faculty development program, we did have challenges with technologies. So there can be, if the sessions are extended over an entire semester period, the students may have several queries related to technology, particularly given the plethora of handheld devices which students are using today. There is diverse range of smartphones. There are diverse operating systems in which they work. Not all of them use Android. If you are using iOS, that would be different. And some of the plugins which would be required to play the content may not be compatible with some of the devices. So there are several challenges related to technology, and there can be queries from the learners, and the best way is to post them on the message board so that it receives the quick attention. Okay. Then do you permit anonymous postings on the bulletin boards? That is the teacher's choice. Most of the teachers do not wish to have anonymous posts because that may sometimes lead to offensive posts, but a teacher can permit, because then the students may give more freely their comments if the post can be anonymous. Then of course, simple casual messages like thanks, etc. also can be there. Then very important, messages from teachers. Introductory message at the start of the course, extremely important, particularly if you are dealing with your first year students. For the first time, they are getting into online or flipped mode. So you must feel, you must make them feel comfortable, establish a bond with them,
create a sense of learning community. So a nice individual email welcome messages would be very good. Apart from that, you can post on the bulletin board a welcome message. Then, of course, you can have announcements, course schedules, assessment schedules, changes in the schedules, test dates, status of the course progress. New learning material has been uploaded onto the LMS and it's available now. Then results, then it can be reminders like due dates for the assignment submission. So a variety of these messages from the teachers are also possible, and they are related to even course structure, and that must be obviously separate from the discussion threads. Again, something like a Moodle supports this kind of bulletin board or a message board, and it also permits scrolling messages, alerts to be provided. And then, of course, you can also have encouragement and appreciation. This is very helpful in promoting quality learning. So if a student is contributing well to a discussion thread, please do appreciate those students and encourage them to be more active. Then responses to content related queries by learners. Then key issue, responses to technology related queries by students. My suggestion would be that it is best handled in collaboration with a tech help center operating at the institute level. If the teacher starts getting into answering all the technology related queries, substantial amount of the teacher's time would go unnecessarily spent on technology related issues. An institute must have at the institute level a 24/7 tech help center, and it must be with good technical support staff available throughout 24/7, and the teachers can collaborate with the tech help center to resolve the issues of the students. Again, an LMS provides such facility in a very, very user-friendly interface. Then the last issue is collaborative work. We know that social constructivist theory of knowledge requires that the students work together in a social context and collaboratively they construct the knowledge. And peer interaction is extremely important in learning, and that is present in the traditional classroom setting, is absent in the online environment. Discussion threads do provide some opportunities for peer interaction, but it's not structured. So it would be helpful to set up small teams of learners and challenge them with suitable collaborative learning activities. And again, technology use must support such an activity. And again, a tool like Moodle would give you such breakout room facility. I hope that in the last day when Moodle is discussed, this also would be discussed. You can create small groups of your class learners. Then for each group, you can assign a breakout room. And then the communication will happen only among that learners of that small group. What should be the ideal size? You are the best judge, but probably 3 to 4 students in one group. Then in the breakout room, while they are trying to collaboratively construct a solution to a given problem, the teacher will have the option to visit any of these breakout rooms. So the teacher can hop in and hop out of these breakout rooms and see how the collaborative work is moving forward. And when they are stuck, the teacher can contribute by providing a helping hand. So such support would be extremely useful in promoting quality learning by the students. And your technology must support such things, and a good LMS will certainly support such collaborative work. Okay. Then we are running out of time. Let us quickly run through some good practices. Extremely important to get connected to the learners right in the beginning. As I said, particularly if you are having your first year students right in the first class, they should feel that there is a learning community, a bonding which happens. Because of the absence of physical interaction, it is essential that you get connected to the learners right at the beginning. So individual emails, as well as a welcome message on the message board, as well as any further WhatsApp or other messages would be helpful. Any amount of communication would certainly be not over or excessive. It's always good to have good communication with all the learners. Make all the learners feel secure and safe in all their communications. This will help greater participation and opening up by the learners. The students must always feel that they can communicate freely with the teacher, and there is no problem in terms of misunderstanding or in terms of wrong communication etiquette being followed. And always appreciate when appropriate. So do not fail to appreciate when appropriate. And look at the quality of post by the learners and simply not the length of their post, which means that you must spend quality time with all the discussion threads which are currently active in your learning management system. And the teacher's presence, as I mentioned, respond as quickly as possible to queries from learners. It's very essential. And if the course includes collaborative work, certainly a desirable practice in all courses, form learner teams carefully and keep the size of the team reasonably small. Then we know that humor is extremely important. In a face-to-face session, we use humor to ensure that there is some kind of a sense of camaraderie. So in online classes also, humor plays an extremely important role, but there is a challenge. When you crack a joke in a physical setting, there is a body language to support your joke. Your facial expressions will convey the sense in which you are cracking the joke. So there is non-verbal communication happening, and the joke is normally not misunderstood. But when you type it in emotionless black and white letters, sometimes the joke may be lost. So be very careful. Humor can so easily become sarcasm. The students may not appreciate the joke. Instead, they may treat it as a kind of a sarcastic comment. So one should be very careful. Use humor certainly, but with care, and make use of good emoticons wherever possible if the tools support it. And be sensitive in your textual responses, overt messages, as well as the tone and connotations. It's very important because you are not backing it up with your body language. Any response that you make should not really convey any undesirable feelings. There is a connotation to the words. Words have certain explicit meaning, but also in a certain group, they have an implicit meaning, a connotation. Be sensitive in your textual responses. Ensure that discussions are carried out with decorum always. Then consider carefully when to assume control of the discussion forum. In general, allow the students to initiate and control the discussion, but interfere wherever it is required. Then, very important, generously allow for genuine difficulties learners may have in communicating in English. Particularly, the first year students may be having some difficulty initially to communicate in English because probably they have learned most of it in their local language. And they may take more time to compose the response to a discussion thread that is currently active. So allow the possibility that the learners are not participating actively, not because they don't want to, but because they have genuine problems of communicating in English. If you think that that is one of the reasons, then you can open a private communication channel with each student. Again, Moodle permits that. You can open a discussion forum that is private to a single student. So you can open private communication channels to the students, encourage them to participate, draw them out, if required initially by communicating in the local language, but ensure that their diffidence is overcome. This is very important to ensure that the students do not feel either hesitant or low in confidence in terms of participation in online. When the communication from a learner is rather vague, do not assume anything, rather gently seek clarifications. Because there could be some communication issues because of which the learner might not have posted the query properly. So do not generally infer things which are not really implied. If you have a doubt, seek clarification gently from the learner. Then glitches, certainly they will be there. Like today also we had the glitches. And if the glitches are encountered during online course, handle it calmly and communicate clearly the reasons and your specific action plans for dealing with these glitches. Now, in this case, we are all colleagues and teachers, so there is really no kind of psychological stress perhaps. But when you look at an online class, the students would be subjected to great psychological stress if, because of a technology glitch, they are not able to participate well. In fact, of late we have been listening to several news reports where the students have been subjected to enormous psychological stresses, because for them it is a high-stake item. For example, if they are submitting an assignment and the due date is approaching, and if there is a glitch, they are not able to submit in time, then that could be a source for great stress. Or worse still, if they are doing some kind of an online test, and if there is a technology glitch, the students could be really going through tremendous stress. So it is very important for the teacher to be calm in all such situations and communicate very clearly to the students that their interests would not be compromised. Make the learners comfortable and confident that their interests will not be compromised. You have to be a little bit of applied psychologist in such context, because these are all very high stake items for the learners. So we must ensure that they feel that their interests will be protected by the teacher. It's okay if there are some difficulties in overcoming the technology glitch immediately, but we must support our students and we must ensure that their interests are not compromised. So that is demonstrated by the calmness with which the teacher handles the glitch. That's very important. Then be liberal in communicating individually through emails or even voice messages over the mobile phone or through private discussion forums in a learning management system like Moodle. Then set up and regularly update an FAQ section in your course homepage and encourage learners to consult that section before posting a message. However, most of the students do not read FAQ that carefully. So if they do post a question for which the answer is already available in FAQ, do not get upset. So please do not get upset with learners who post a message for which an answer is already available in FAQ section. Gently point out the answer and then point them to the FAQ section where more details are available. Then repeating a reasonable number of times alerts about important dates and announcements is all right. Last date for submission of the assignment is approaching. You can have multiple announcements, multiple alerts. There is no harm. Then always keep communication from your end supportive, respectful, and gentle. The students may not have the necessary tact, necessary communication skills, necessary competencies to follow etiquette properly. Sometimes their messages may border on being rude, but from our side, we always remain supportive, respectful, and gentle. This not only makes the students connect well with us, but also this will be a kind of a pointer to the students on how the communication should happen. So it becomes a kind of a role model. So always keep the communication from our side supportive, respectful, and gentle. Then at the institute level, as I suggested, we must have a learning management system. Then make careful choice of technologies and have standard templates for the course design with the necessary choices, and ensure that the learner experience is uniform across all courses. So if you are using technology tools, and if there are diverse tools, and if there is diverse interface for each program that they are going through, each course that they are going through, it can be quite intimidating. So you ensure that the learning experience of the students is uniform across all the subjects that they study in a given semester. Train the teachers as well as learners in the chosen technologies. And most important, maintain a good tech support center with adequate staff to help both teachers and learners. So the final conclusion will be that online learning has come to stay. Flipped classrooms we might use, blended mode we might use, but there would be substantial amount of online interaction happening. While online learning has several advantages, there are significant challenges also, both for the teacher and learners. Communicating the course content is extremely important. We should be familiar with the necessary technology tools, as I mentioned, like video, audio captures, edits, embedding them into the PPTs or PDFs, or embedding a quizzes into the video, or uploading this content onto the YouTube, a private channel, access rights, All these things are extremely important, but communication beyond the course content is also extremely necessary in order to ensure quality learning, and that can be a significant challenge. Such communication was a key issue in the traditional classroom setting also, but it is particularly challenging in online learning environment because of the absence of the facial clues and the body language and the personal interaction that happens in the traditional setting. Okay. So discussions, messages, collaborative learning must be implemented effectively. That means they all must be planned upfront and technology must support it, and they must be efficiently implemented, and it must be an engaging way for better quality learning in online mode. Use of appropriate technologies, training for teachers and learners must be planned upfront by the institute. Because last semester we have a lot pushed into the online education in a haphazard fashion because of the sudden eruption of the pandemic. But this academic year onwards, we have more time to plan carefully upfront. So we must plan all these activities carefully upfront, have our wish list for the technologies, choice of the technologies be dictated by that wish list, and we can ensure that this is done much more effectively, efficiently, and in an engaging fashion now. So online teaching can be made at least as good as, more often better than face-to-face teaching if we make use of the technology appropriately. And in all this, a learning management system would greatly facilitate quality learning. I am very happy that on the last day you have 2 sessions on the Moodle. All those features you can examine in that Moodle. Adaptation and continual improvement are essential in all these cases. So thanks again, and again sorry that today we had a couple of technology glitches as well as time constraints, but I hope that we are not too much beyond the time, beyond your lunch time. Okay, and thank you, Dr. Srinivas. And if there are any,
thank you, sir. Sharply we can have 1 or 2 questions if any.
Yeah, sure.
Any questions, please, you can put it in the chat box so that it will not disturb.
Or they can even use voice also, no issues.
Yes, sir. Then they have to, you can unmute yourself and ask, otherwise you can write it in the chat box also.
Yeah, either way.
Sir?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Ms. Lalita, Assistant Professor of English from Daman, sir. I work for a government polytechnic.
Yeah.
Now, I have been teaching students in Chennai, where we have multilingual students. Now, here when I come, I find a vast variance in teaching English as a language, because the students never find the importance of the language. That is a main problem here, because they say, okay, chak de, English hai na, koi baat nahi. Well, that is the attitude that goes on. So
I agree, madam.
Yeah, they take it easily. But with that type of students, how am I to handle them? Because I've made it very compulsory that you have to learn. It is like mathematics. It is very important for your career. You must learn English language, creating interest and modules and everything.
I understand and appreciate your point of view fully, Professor. It is true. It is true that quite a good number of students do not appreciate the importance of communicating in English. Chalega, ye to hoga, like that. But what we have to do is that in a face-to-face, it becomes easier to coax them to use the language. But in online, it becomes more challenging. So probably what we have to do is embed this learning into some kind of online games, which the students may find interesting. So if we can devise some suitable language games, there are several tools available for that, and the technology can come to your aid. You can devise some suitable language games which will make them interesting, but still I agree that it is a big challenge, and that's why I said that teachers must have some kind of understanding of these issues of the language from the students. I agree. There is no ready-made solution available, nor there is a panacea for these issues. It's a challenge that all of us need to face. I agree, Professor.
Yes, sir. No, even when they are writing something, they find it is not only with the English language, because of the lack of foundation, they are not
Yes.
able to cope up with the other subjects, right? And
Agreed.
everything,
Yes.
all the scratch comes to the null point that it comes to English only. When all the
Correct.
faculty, I've seen in many colleges, sir,
Yeah.
let it be the MBA, let it be the BE, let it be the Polytechnic Arts and Science, everyone comes only to English department and they say, what is this, madam? They are not able to handle English.
Yes. Okay. No, in fact, but Professor, you can turn this online session to greater advantage, because what you can do is you can make many of these learning resources available on your learning management system, and they can keep playing it as many times as they want. So that if you make it interesting and embed into a game, they might be able to spend much more time with those things, and perhaps we can be in a position to make the learning better, because now they can play it any number of times. So whereas in a face-to-face, really we never had this kind of opportunity to engage with the students over extended periods of time. But now you make all the resources available on your course homepage and make those resources interesting. Perhaps we may be able to get better results. But again,
Yes,
I am not
I
offering this as a
I
panacea.
think it has become a, I mean, it is very an argumentative topic or what, but still, the writing point of view, again, it is again a problem, right?
Yeah, correct. But even for that, again, there are tools available where the system can automatically help you by pointing out as you are typing the errors that you are committing. And because
Yes,
the system can support you in a more user-friendly fashion, perhaps you can embed such tools. Okay. But I agree that it is a challenge, certainly a challenge.
yeah, teaching English, sir, definitely. And
Yeah.
when they have no foundation and they come from Hindi medium, Gujarati medium, and other things, they find it, the Tamil medium or the Kannada medium, whatever it is, the local language impact is more on language, and they are not able to cope up with the subjects, especially the scientific terms or whatever it is,
True,
They are
true, Professor. True.
So this has an impact even at their
Absolutely agree with you.
interview level and everything, right? Even writing a leave letter.
I totally agree.
So this, how can this?
I totally agree with you, Professor.
Yes.
Yes. I completely agree with you. We have to use available tools to the best possible extent. I totally agree with you. And I have empathy for your concerns.
This is the basic problem of the students, poor thing. See, they have to meet out the challenges when they come for the interviews, right?
Yeah. True.
So there on the platform, everyone is the same. They don't mind whether they are from Polytechnic or this medium or that medium or whatever it is. Every candidate is the same. Only the candidature matters.
True. Absolutely true.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
madam,
you so much.
thank you. Thank you. If anybody else have a question, we will have one last question before we proceed for lunch break.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a question? Yeah. Thank you, sir. So because the time is up, sir. Thank you very much for your very short and very nice presentation. Sorry, sir, without informing you, we have recorded your session. So
No
hope
problem.
you
No
don't
problem.
mind.
Please feel free. And in fact, I request you to make the PPT available to all the participants. They can make use of it wherever they want. The more
Okay,
people
sir.
use it, the more happy I am. I thank you
Thank
all.
Thank you very much, sir.
And all the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So nice of you, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
So then I'm leaving
Dear
now.
participants, we will have a lunch break now, and we will come back with the same link at 2:30. Rajnikant, sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.